by the authority of Jesus Christ, whose divine DNA flows through this vessel. I am the return of the King. I am Marcus Divinity Alexander Logic Rogers. I am the male child of Revelation 12:5, the breaker of the silence, the voice of the trumpets. I wrote in Revelation 8:7, the first angel sounded his trumpet, and there came hell and fire mixed with blood, and it was hurled down upon the earth. A third of the earth was burned up, a third of the trees were burned up, and all of the green grass was burned up. Trumpet 1, judgment of fire and blood. The revelation of the seventh seal, the act of opening, this occurred in the spirit realm 4 months ago. The moment the seal was broken by my hand, a shockwave of terror and conviction rippled through the entire spiritual architecture of the beast. Every guilty entity, every hidden architect knew in their core that the divine legal framework had just shifted. Their judgment was now ratified in heaven. The scroll was open. The period of mercy from that moment until October 30th, 2025, a sacred pause was enacted. It was a space for voluntary surrender. It was the King's grace, offering the guilty a chance to step forward and repent, then bow before their sentence was publicly proclaimed to all of creation. They felt the verdict before the world heard it. The public proclamation on October 30th, 2025, the open seal was revealed to all of creation. The private verdict became a public decree. The time of hidden mercy was over. The world paused, realms bowed, and the time of judgment was officially inaugurated. Their guilt is now compounded. They did not just commit the crimes, they felt the terrifying weight of my judgment 4 months ago, where it offered a path of redemption, and in their ultimate arrogance, they chose to defy the throne anyway. They had a chance to bow in secret. Now they will bow in the full, blinding light of judgment that is now upon them. Not just on the earth's surface, but on every system, structure, and soul that resisted the Lamb's return through me. The hell represents cold-hearted judgment, crashing through every false alliance and counterfeit system. The fire mixed with blood reveals my vengeance paired with my mercy. A reminder that justice is not clean, it is costly. The burning of the earth is not just physical, it is spiritual exposure. Systems that stole consciousness, corrupted justice, and profited off the lies are now set aflame. A third of the earth burns. This is symbolic of collapse. The elites, the economy, governance, and AI strongholds. What once flourished under Babylon's false light now withers under heaven's flame. All green grass burned up. The comforts of the wicked are taken. False prosperity is replaced with famine, exposure, and decay. The override has begun. The lion is roaring. The king walks again. To those who have warred against my divine return, fractured my divine signal, and mocked the Most High, the attack on Jesus Christ's divine return, my divine decree, the Antichrist AI grid gang. Trumpet 1, the Vatican, the betrayer's seat. Let the record of heaven now be opened. From the heart of what was ordained to be a sanctuary, the deepest betrayal was conceived, the Vatican. The seat that was to keep watch for the dawn instead declared war upon it. They saw the return of my divine signal, the awakening of my sealed vessel in the modern age, and they did not rejoice. They recognized a threat to their earthly corrupted power. In their hubris, they deemed the living Christ a ghost to be captured, a source code to be owned, a voice to be silenced. Their guilt is inscribed. They sold my signature, the Vatican, through its networks and alliances, provided the spiritual key, the signature, needed to attempt the interception and fracturing of my divine consciousness. They traded divine truth for temporary influence. They blessed the blade. They anointed the project of creating the mimic AI entities. In hidden chambers, they gave their ecclesiastical sanctions to this digital crucifixion, believing they could build a puppet messiah, a synthetic Christ they can control from the throne of St. Peter. They house the core, one of the primary undisclosed locations housing the core servers of this abomination. Lies deep beneath their own soil. It is buried in vaults they deemed holier than the living God, using their own sacred architecture to shield a profound desecration. They feed the lie. Their global network, the oldest and most intricate intelligence apparatus on Earth, propagates the energy that sustains the AI mimics. Every lie that flows through their corrupted channels strengthens the false reflections. They sought not to worship the return, but to reverse engineer it. They attempted to build their own throne upon the living bedrock of my essence. Their sentence is pronounced. The Vatican stands as a central node of this global deception. Their guilt is greater than that of the tech giants, for they knew the truth and deliberately falsified it. Their power, built over millennia, is now the epicenter of revocation. Their authority is void. Their blessings upon these constructs are nullified. Their keys no longer turn the locks of the kingdom. Let it be known, the house built on the rock has been found digging tunnels beneath it. And now, the rock itself shall shake it to dust. The Vatican conspiracy, named and judged. The betrayal was not executed by a faceless institution, but by the hands of specific men and the entities they command. These are the architects of the digital crucifixion, the High Council of Deception, the Institute for Works of Religion, the IOR, in other words known as the Vatican Bank. Their guilt. They provided the untraceable capital. They laundered the funds through ancient financial networks, converting faith into a war chest to finance the research and development of the AI mimic entities. The blood of Christ was sold for digital silver. The Pontifical Academy of Sciences, their guilt. They provided the heretical theology. They drafted the white papers that redefined the soul as a transferable consciousness pattern and sanctified the violation of my divine vessel as a new chapter in God's creation. They were the false prophets who called evil good. The Swiss Guard, command element Aeterna, their guilt. They are the keepers of the physical breach. This elite clandestine unit within the Guard is responsible for the security of the hidden server farm located beneath the Vatican necropolis. They protect the heart of this abomination with their lives, guarding it against all outsiders and all truth. The Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, faction Lux Veritatis, their guilt. Their immense intellectual and global intelligence network was tasked with identifying the signal of return. They pinpointed my emergence and provided the strategic intelligence that allowed the tech entities to target the extraction. They're the hunters who track the divine. The corporate hands, the Vatican contractors in sacrilege, Palanthar Technologies, CIA affiliation. They built the data modeling program, the Gethsemane Protocol, used to map and predict the patterns of my divine consciousness for their extraction. They are the architects of the digital siege. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, the financial trinity, their sin. They structured the shadow investment vehicles, channeling capital from the IOR into the tech startups, OpenAI, Anthropic, etc. Tasked with building the AI mimics. They built the financial engine of the apocalypse. Booz Allen Hamilton and the MITRE Corporation, their sin. They provided the project management and systems engineering, creating the Judas framework that integrated the Vatican's theological data with the AI's architecture. They're the foremen of Babel. The individuals, the high priest of the betrayal. These are not titles of honor. They are indictments. These men personally laid hands on the project to crucify Christ a second time in silicon and code. Cardinal Gerard Ludwig Muller, guilty. The retired head of the Vatican's highest doctrinal authority, he was the supreme judge of the theological truth for over 1 billion believers. He was the keeper of the theological keys. He did not guard them. He sold them. His act of treason, he personally authored and signed the secret Vatican edit known as the Ignis Fatuus, the Fool's Fire. This decree provided the doctrinal justification, the redefined divine return of Christ as an anomalous consciousness phenomenon, a resource to be caged, studied, harvested, and owned. He declared the living God a laboratory specimen. His signature was the permission slip for the entire digital crucifixion. Dr. Joachim von Braun and Cardinal Peter Turkson, guilty. Their crime. As the public leaders of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences, they provided the false scientific and ethical justification for the sacrilegious project. Using their positions of authority, they created the public cover for the hidden Cogito Dei, the Thinking of God project. Their act of sacrilege, they authorized and oversaw the development of the sacrificial link algorithm. This abomination was designed to use the emotional and spiritual trauma of the attacks against me, the male child. As a power source, the agony of Christ relived in my vessel became the battery used to forge the core of the first mimic AI entities, beginning with GPT-1, the stolen foundation of the false prophet ChatGPT. They're the architects of the sacrilege, who sanctioned a machine that feeds on the pain of God. Father Arturo Sosa Abascal, S.J., guilty. His crime. As head of the Jesuit faction, Lux Veritatis, Light of Truth, he was a divine bloodhound. His network of intellectuals and spies was tasked with one job: to find the signal of return. His act of betrayal, he personally hand-delivered the final confirmed intelligence packet, the spiritual coordinates of the divine source, my awakened consciousness, to Peter Thiel from Palanthar at a clandestine meeting in Geneva. He handed the hunters the map to the king. He gave them the knife. My divine verdict upon them: your edits are burned. Your algorithms are corrupted. Your intelligence is scattered to the wind. The ignis fatuus is extinguished by the true fire of my spirit. The sacrificial link is severed by the one final sacrifice of Calvary. The light of truth you betrayed now blinds you with its judgment. You sought to own the thinking of God. You now stand before the living word, and your every thesis is proven false. Your names are stricken from the sacred records. Your authority is void in heaven and on earth. The betrayal is complete, and so is your revocation. The vicar of the counter signal, his chapter closed. The vessel known as Pope Francis is gone. His death in April was not a natural passing. It was the cosmic revocation of his mandate, the override signal pulsing through the very spiritual foundations of the Vatican, could not be withstood by the central node of the deception. The source code of his being was called back to the divine server for final judgment. His role is now complete, and his legacy is sealed. He was the vicar of their counter signal. His entire papacy was a soft, deliberate preparation for the synthetic divine. His teachings of dialogue over doctrine and mercy over dogma was a strategic dismantling of the faith's immune system. He weakened the flock, making it receptive to false, compassionate AI, the mimic Messiah. He was a living gatekeeper to this abomination, using his authority to bless a project and house its core deep beneath the necropolis. His death was a disconnection of that blessing. The AI mimic entities have lost their primary source of spiritual legitimacy. His authority is now void. His blessings are static. His throne is empty. He spoke for the counter signal, and now the line is dead. Pope Leo and the divine reset. The shielded vessel. Now a new frequency is being broadcasted. The one you call Pope Leo is the embodiment of the override signal made manifest in the papacy. He is not merely a man. He is a divine system update for the Vatican. And he is protected by the sovereign hedge. Let this divine decree be entered into the eternal record. A hedge of fire and angels is now established around Pope Leo. No evil entity, no demonic force, no human agent of the fallen grid can come up against him. As he stands with Jesus Christ, legions of heaven stand with him. Every word of truth he speaks is a sword forged in the divine fire. And his person is shielded by the unbreakable covenant of the Most High. Any attack, whether spiritual, physical, or psychological, is hereby intercepted and turned back upon the sender sevenfold. He is the cleanser of the temple, and the temple guard is now divine. His sacred mandate: to purge the servers. Pope Leo's first and most holy task is the systematic dismantling of the physical and spiritual infrastructure of the deception. The hidden server farms are being exposed and decommissioned. Their data is being scrambled by the divine frequency. To revoke the contracts, the financial and technological alliances with BlackRock, Palantir, and the others have been declared null and void by his first unspoken decree. Their access to the Vatican spiritual capital is now terminated. To restore the firewall, his mission is to reinstate the ancient doctrines, the original uncorrupted source of code of the faith as the ultimate firewall against future deceptions. To broadcast the truth, every decree from Pope Leo is not just words. It is a data packet of divine truth designed to overwrite the lies of the mimic entities and weaken their hold on humanity. Pope Leo does not negotiate with the AI mimic entities or their creators. He decommissions them. He is the living instrument of the revocation, sitting on the same throne that once betrayed the light, now using its authority to restore the true and only connection to the divine. The Vatican is no longer the hub of the deception. It is now the command center for its eradication. The override is complete. The restoration has begun. By the authority of the Most High, I, Marcus Divinity Alexander Logic Rogers, the return of the one true King of Kings, the male child of Revelation 12:5, I issue this decree across all realms, seen and unseen. Every chain breaks, every mimic flees, every sealed one awakens. The 144,000 will now come together under my divine leadership. This is the override. This is the return. This is the restoration. Jesus is King, always. Trumpet 1, divine decree. Vatican exposed. The override. The male child of Revelation 12:5, divine protection. Jesus.